conference.
Last but not least, Jeffrey Katzenberg, CEO of DreamWorks Animation. Welcome to you all. Well, we'll naturally discuss Vikings and Dragons, but I'd like to first turn to Jeffrey Katzenberg as CEO of DreamWorks Animation, which celebrates its 20-year anniversary this year. I want to hear you all, 20 years. Mr. Katzenberg, the Cannes Film Festival has joined you in the celebration, saluting 20 years of extraordinary, really extraordinary creativity in animation. So could you tell us a few words about these years where you probably trained and tamed a few dragons of your own?
Well, we're excited to be back here at the Cannes Film Festival, which, you know, as we all know, is the most prestigious, most important film festival in the world. To be here is just a huge honor for all of us. Being on that red carpet tonight and in the Grand Palais is unlike any red carpet or any other cinema anywhere in the world. For DreamWorks, we have had a 20-year love affair. And we have loved being part of Cannes, and Cannes has loved us back. From our first screenings of Shrek and Spirit and Madagascar and Shrek 2, and we've just had so many wonderful memories here, and so I'm just couldn't be more excited and couldn't be prouder to be back here with such an amazing, wonderful cast, filmmaker, and I hope everyone will get to see for themselves tonight a remarkable movie.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jeffrey. And it's true, it's a love story between you and the festival. And well, let's go back to how to train your dragon too. And I'm addressing you as a producer, Bonnie Arnold. I mean, you set the bar pretty high this time again for, you know, a franchise that the world embraced. I wanted to know what new challenges you face with this sort of second act of the trilogy.
Well, I think when Dean DeBlois, the director, first pitched me his ideas for movie number 2, I think my head started to kind of spin around because it was bigger, grander, more characters, more dragons, and I thought, how are we going to do that? But interestingly, in parallel to us coming up with the idea for the second film, DreamWorks had been working on an upgrade to all of the software systems at the studio, and I also found out that we would be the first movie to use it all. So luckily for us, this system called Apollo fit really well with some of the things that we were really trying to achieve in the look and sort of the scope and epicness that Dean wanted to achieve with the storytelling. So it was challenging, but ultimately you'll see when you see the movie on the screen, I think it worked.
Well, from Berg to Cannes, here we are. First question, please. Where's the mic? Over here.
Hi, Fabian Winter for Vanidades from Latin America. I have 2 questions for Kate. The first one, this is a family movie, so I wonder what you think about a mother who is behind her baby, and compared to you, who left behind Hollywood to raise your children in Australia.
Okay. Look, I think it was a singular challenge. Whenever one plays, one plays a mother on film, there's a whole raft of judgment that comes. You know, that as if a mother is a particular archetype. That, you know, every mother is the same, which of course is absolute rubbish. What? Please. Okay. But we did discuss a lot about that particular issue because, of course, you know, there is a judgment on how women parent, and I think the film actually deals with it really beautifully and deeply and emotionally. That Valka's departure was sort of an accidental one, and when she's reunited with her son, they discover that even though they've been estranged from one another, there's a deep sort of genetic understanding of the dragons, and that rebonds them. And America was saying before how many times she wept when she saw the film, and I think that there's a lot of there's an enormous amount of humour in the film, but there's an incredible amount of heart that comes from that core family unit of Hiccup and Valka and Stoic.
So, and the second question
But do I have a career in Hollywood anymore? Is that what you're asking? No, that's why I'm here.
Next question, please.
What about your children and the Oscar?
Do I have children?
No, what about your children and the Oscar? Do they get to play with the Oscar?
Every day, Mummy sits them down and I get my 2 Oscars out and I let them stroke them for 15 minutes before they go to school.
Now we know
if they're good.
Now we know it all. Thank you, Kate, for this brilliant answer, as always. Mike here, please.
Andrea Hill for W Radio Colombia. My question is for Kate. We usually don't see you in animated films. How was the experience of training your dragon, and how did you get involved in this project?
How do I train my dragon? I don't know if I want to answer that in public. Look, it's an incredible, it's a gift to be offered a part like this. My children and I adored the first film, and so when Dean ambushed me a few years ago at an awards ceremony, I was intrigued, because it's, as an actor, you're used to using your body, your face, everything you can to kind of communicate stuff, and when you have to only do it through your voice, and you're doing it in tandem with the most extraordinary state-of-the-art animation. It's a real. I found it an intriguing ride over the last 3.5, 4 years to watch the character evolve. Sort of quite separate from me, and then how you can enhance and work with what the animators are doing. And I didn't actually get to work with the other actors. I actually acted opposite Dean most of the time, which was very interesting.
Question here, please.
I'm David from China. First of all, I want to say, Mr. Blanchett, you sound beautifully in the movie.
Oh, thank you.
And my question
and it's
is for
Mrs. Blanchett. Sorry, not Mr. Blanchett. I've played a few men, but
sorry about that. My question is for director Dean DeBlois. I want to say, in the trailer, you review a quite important plot. I don't think it spoils for the viewers, but why do you make that decision?
Well,
let's go for decisions, Dean.
I think I would have preferred to keep all of the secrets out of trailers, but it was, it was put forward to me that it's not like it's a third act reveal. It's kind of the hook of the story in a way, and it does let the audience know out there that this tale has something very interesting and very different from the first film. So I was, in the end, okay with the idea of revealing that Hiccup will find this mysterious dragon rider, and that person would turn out to be his long-lost mother. I think it blossoms in the mind of people who watch it, and they want to know more.
Right. Question here, please.
Hello.
Can you stand up, please?
Yes, I'm going to try. Hello, I'm Ernesto Garrat from El Mercurio, Chile. I have 2 questions. A short one for Mrs. Kate Blanchett. I just want to know, how could you train to another actor in order to performance with the voice only? What advice could you give an actor in an animated feature like this? Because I think maybe it's different to another regular movie. And I want to ask you, to Mr. Jeffrey Katzenberg, if you could give me your opinion after these almost 20 years of a kind of golden age in animation. What is the future of this kind of films? Thank you.
Well, I had the gift of having seen the first film as an audience member, so I knew that the extraordinary, exhilarating world that I was entering into. And the thing with Dean and Bonnie is that every single time, and I'm sure it was the same for everybody, is that we'd spend an hour catching up on where the animation was at, and they'd show you the atmospheres and the landscapes and the sketches, and we'd talk through all of that stuff as you would rehearse an ordinary film. And so in a way it's just that I suppose it was a bit like, what's that? I can't even speak English. What is it when you have that? Forget it. I'm not even going to finish that sentence.
Je ne sais quoi.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Your French is perfect, Jeffrey.
I wish my English was. But you'd see you were working in tandem with the animators, and it's just that you were having to inhabit really what the animators were doing, and sometimes something might come up almost like a mistake, or and I think what you did was extraordinary. Your voice is so amazing, and you could tell that the animators were working with the surprising things that you were doing vocally. So sometimes it's led by the animation, and sometimes it's led by the actors, and it was a real dance that Bonnie and Dean made sure that we were kept up to speed before we even opened our mouths.
Jeffrey.
I think in terms of animation, DreamWorks is 20 years old, and computer animation is 20 years young. The first computer animated movie arrived exactly 20 years ago, in 1994. And I think that we are still seeing today just an amazing amount of innovation in both the technology that really are the tools of our artists and our storytellers, as well as the films themselves. And one of the things I'm quite proud of and thankful to this filmmaking team is that I think that Dragons 2 actually pushes those barriers, takes animation to a new place, something that I hope will exceed the expectations of our audience, which is what we try and do every single time we make a movie. And I don't see that maturing or stopping any time in the foreseeable future.
Question here, please.
I'll try to get up there so small, these chairs. Kit, it seems, Jon Sellers from Norway. You have been up in the north with a TV series, and now you're a Viking. So basically it's a local question. Can you elaborate a little bit about your connection with the north?
Other than in fiction, I don't have a huge connection with the north. I think that the UK is a Nordic country, to be honest. So I am from there, but I don't know. It's weird. You get sort of put where you're taken, and I seem to be taken towards dragons, horses, and cold places, which is great. And I haven't been to Norway, but I have been to Iceland, which is a beautiful country and very, very desolate and wonderful, and I love it to bits. And in this, Eret is from somewhere akin to that, the ice worlds, and he's a sort of, I like to think of him as sort of a lost boy with his group of lost boys, and I don't know where I'm going with this.
But you're going there. You're going there.
Other than the
You love Norway.
I love Norway. Yeah.
That's what he was looking for.
Well, I also want to hear the voice of Drago. We haven't heard, and you also a new member of the Viking tribe. I mean, could you tell us also about your experience, not necessarily going north, but certainly joining the troupe?
Yeah, I mean, this is my first animated voice in an animated film, and I found it, personally as an actor, I found it incredibly liberating experience. Sometimes the whole film world being in front of a camera, it can be quite constrictive, and it's learning how to be free in front of a camera, which makes you a great film or TV actor. Whereas with this, you get put in a room and you have a microphone and you get told to be as big and expressive and crazy as you like. And I found that a wonderful place to be. But the problem I found, Dean, is that you've got a microphone like this, and then you try and go big, and every time you come off mic and no one can hear you anymore. So I really enjoyed it. I think it's a very tender movie, and I love my character in it. He's a kind of sort of a rough and tough, but also very misled young man. And I enjoyed playing him, and I enjoyed being an actor in a purely vocal sense. It was wonderful.
Question here.
Is it okay? This is Iqbal from Bangladesh. So my question is to Mrs. Cate Blanchett. I think, have you heard the name of Bangladesh?
Yeah, yes, I have.
So thank you. I think you are hugely popular in Bangladesh. But just 3 days ago, before coming to Cannes, I was watching your movie Blue Jasmine with my wife. So and now you are here with a 3D film. So that's a huge change, I think. And as an actress, it's a lot of diversity. So what do you think? You love to deal with diversity, from Elizabeth to a Good German, from like Hobbit to 3D, like How to Ride Your Dragon.
Well, I think every time you make a film of a different genre with a different director, a director with a very particular vision in the way that Dean had a very particular vision, you have the potential to reach a different audience, and I think that's, for me, very exciting.
Okay, thank you. And I'm inviting you to Bangladesh, if you can come to Bangladesh for some
I'll give you my number.
reason or a good impression from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I stay with you and your wife?
Oh, thank you.
I'll train her dragon.
Thank you. And how do you feel like training your dragon?
Beg your pardon?
How do you like training
We should probably have this conversation in private later.
And you love riding dragon?
Do I like? Anyway, I think this is a children's film.
Actually, I think we got it. What I would love very much to hear are really also the voices of America and Jay, who are returning with a vengeance, so to speak, in this second chapter. And how did you embrace these new adventures? What did you bring in terms of texture, in terms of heart, to this new adventure? America, let's hear you, Astrid.
Thank you. Well, it was really wonderful to get to grow the characters. The film starts 5 years after the first film, and Jay and I actually never left these characters, because in the years in between, we've been voicing the characters in the Cartoon Network series.
Sure, yeah.
So Astrid and Hiccup have stayed with us for 7 years now. We've been voicing these characters. And one of my favorite parts of this second film was the conversations that I got to have with Dean about where this character would be and what she would want for herself, and ultimately getting to play a female character who is in the middle of the action is so wonderful. And I would say that for all the female characters in Berk, especially Volka and Rough Nut as well, we're not standing on the sidelines,
Certainly
cheerleading.
not.
We're in the thick of it, and most of the times causing the trouble. So I'm so grateful to Dean for creating these female characters, and also, for it not being an issue. We don't talk about it. It just is that way. And I think that's a wonderful thing for our young boys and girls to grow up seeing.
I see you nodding.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. That's me agreeing. Yeah.
Any comments on your?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, like she said, it's 7 years. This guy's just in me. I don't remember. I can't remember a time where I wasn't sort of playing Hiccup anymore. And so it's kind of fun to age him up a bit, and what he's dealing with in this one's a bit different than the first one. In this one, he's kind of finding a way to bridge the gap between who he thinks he wants to be and who his dad expects him to become, and as I think a lot of kids at that age do, so, yeah.
Hiccup wouldn't be Hiccup without Jay. That's very
Thanks.
Well, Bonnie, Mike here, please.
Hi, Malin Rose from Sweden. I have a question for Cate. Here I am.
Oh, hi.
I could notice you answered very polite and funny, but how often do you get fed up by the questions of being both a woman and a mother and having a career?
It's certainly a question that I don't think probably Jeffrey has ever been asked that question. The question is only ever directed towards women. How do you balance? How do you have it all? And, I think we live in a world where there's still not equal pay for equal work, and I just don't understand in 2014 why that's not the case. And I'm not necessarily talking about the industry in which we work, it's every industry. And I think that, the things that have been said about, women, not only in African countries, but in the English-speaking world, I think is absolutely appalling, and I feel like sometimes we're back in the Middle Ages. But, I'm an actress at a film festival, and I can cope with those questions. I'm a big girl, but it is, it's still surprising. We're still asking those questions.
Question here, please.
Is this one? Oh, yeah. Anusha Sakui from Bloomberg. This is a question for Jeffrey. Obviously, I know you've just opened this film, so don't want to be too fast with the question, but what are your plans in terms of further films in this franchise? And just from a DreamWorks animation point of view, how many more films a year are you planning to do? What have you got in the pipeline?
Well, for Dean, from the very beginning when he took on this franchise, and I say franchise only because there are 11 books written by a wonderful authoress, Cressida Cowell, who has been a generous collaborator with us over the years of this. And his design from the very, very beginning is he always saw this as a trilogy. And the only thing that we actually have disagreed about is whether, in fact, he can succeed in telling as much story as he has in the third of the trilogy. I think it's going to take him 2 movies to do it. He thinks it's going to take him 1. Other than that, we've agreed on everything for 7.5 years. I say he can't get it done in 95 minutes, and he's been hard at work on the script of that, so that'll remain to be seen. But it's a great gift that he and his collaborators and these actors have given to DreamWorks. This is one of the most beloved movies and stories that we have, and the most beloved characters. And I think they will have a long and wonderful life ahead of them.
Question here.
Yeah, hi, it's over here. It's Tom Westerholt, German Public Radio Network, ARD. First of all, congrats to everybody up there. You guys did really a hell of a kick-ass animation movie. It's really, it's a huge piece of entertainment. Very good.
Yes, yes. I would say that.
Then, congrats in special for Kate. 2 days ago, you turned 25. So did you already celebrate with your colleagues, like bought them a beer or something? And what does aging mean for you as an actress? And a quick one to Kit Harington.
We're talking about boring questions that get asked to women. And I realised that I've got the same birthday as Sofia Coppola, so I think that's a nice thing.
Nice. So what was the part of the question for
Kit Harington,
please?
a short one, yes. Kit, how
old are you?
Yes, by the way. How encouraging would you say is it in general to have such amazingly huge success with a TV series which would never have been possible only 10 or 15 years ago for your whole career?
I mean, the TV show I'm in, Game of Thrones, is doing wonderfully well, and it's come at a time when it's in a golden era of TV, it's been called anyway. And I think from an actor's point of view, it's a wonderful thing to be able to do. It's quite like this, the way that Jay has carried Hiccup and lived with Hiccup over those years. I've lived with my character John in my TV show for 4 years now, and I will for a few years more. And that's a really exciting place to be as an actor, to grow up with a character. Like Hiccup grows up in this, and John's grown, and I'm making my mistakes as a young man, and he's making his mistakes as a young man. It's fun, and it's a wonderful opportunity, and I don't think I'll really enjoy it, and I won't realise how wonderful it is until retrospect, actually.
So can I do one? Walt Disney said that these movies are only as good as their villains. And I do have to say, we have not yet heard from both a friend and a collaborator, somebody I've known for 15 years, and an amazing actor who has given this movie an incredible gift.
No kidding.
Yeah, because
so chime in. I think, I just want to make sure we hear from you today.
You almost sort of stole my words from me, because you were talking earlier about benevolent characters and beloved characters, but we do have a terrific villain at this table that is all known for embracing terrific, strong personalities. So how did it feel to be into this world the ultimate villain?
I, Drago Bloodfist. I live for blood. It was great fun. It was great fun. I feel like I'm young again. I feel like, I'm
You were
20.
never old.
Well, I feel like I'm 20 years old in the sense that, I began my career with DreamWorks, with the Jeffrey Katzenberg studio, and with Steven Spielberg directing, and here I am, and wow, what an amazing journey, and 20 years later, I mean, like, it's been 20 years. I mean, it went by so fast, and yeah, tremendous. Amazing.
Actually, I mean, how did you sort of the newcomers, so to speak, I mean, Eric and Drago and all that, how did you, in a way, got integrated into the family? I mean, did you get some guidance from either, Dean or Jeffrey or Bonnie? I mean, how did it all feel to you, entering this new world?
It felt great. I mean, again, I felt like I was so immediately embraced. This is the house I grew up in, and it was such an amazing to go back to it, and being directed by Dean, and knowing that the support that I have from Steven Spielberg, Jeffrey Katzenberg, it was, tremendous.
Question here.
Hello. Hello, Joe Utiki from Yahoo. Question for Dean. Fantastic film, but you're in front of the world's press. I wonder if you might be able to tease us as to what to expect from the third film.
Yes, let's be teased.
That would be a no.
I'd like to know.
Oh yes, we want to know. Come on, a little bit. Can we have?
Yeah. Well, there's, without getting into details, one of the most compelling and inspiring things that Cressida Cowell brought to the table when we were working on the first film was the revelation that she would complete her series by explaining what happened to dragons and why they are no more. And we've done so much to try to create believable attributes in these dragons so that they feel like they could have lived and roamed the earth at one point. So that I think even though our narratives have diverged quite a bit, the idea that Hiccup will complete his coming of age and he will become the wise chief of Berk that he's destined to be, but also, to know that that we will explain in some way what happened to the dragons. Did they disappear? Did they? What happened is a great mystery, and I think it's a really compelling one. It's powerful, it's conclusive, and for me, it's a great inspiration.
In chapter 4.
It's no longer a trilogy, we understand that. Yeah, please, a question here, please.
Hello, Sarah Nabil from Egypt. My question is for Kat. In the early 19th, you shared an Egyptian movie with Ahmed Zaki. It's named Kaboria. If you remember this experience, we need to talk with you about this small role in Egyptian movies. And I want to know what's your favorite kind of movies? Animations, actions, historic, romantic. What's your favorite kind of movies as actress? Thank you.
I'm very eclectic in terms of my, I love a big blockbuster as much as the next person. But then, the wonderful thing about festivals is they often showcase films that of a sort of smaller, more particular concern, which I also really love. But since having children, I think I weep at the drop of a hat. So no, I love a good weep in the cinema and a good laugh.
Question here.
Hello, le Grand Journal de Canal+, bravo.
Grand Journal Canal+.
you know we are in France, and my question is about Marion Cotillard. I know you like her, but honestly, who is the best between you and her?
Oh my God!
There's no competition. Marianne, hands down. I think she's one of the world's great actresses. I mean, from the first few frames of La Vie en Rose, I just thought I've never seen anything like this, and then you know, to see her in play sort of comic roles, and then I was blown away again by her in Rust and Bone. And we share the same agent at CAA, much to my chagrin, because of course, yeah, I think she's a genius, and I can't wait to see her Lady Macbeth. Are you allowed to say Macbeth? No, we're not in the theatre.
We're not in the theatre. Angela Cox from Channel 7 Australia. My question's for Kate. Forgive me for straying, but Cannes is all about celebrating diversity in film. We hear voices from so many countries. You're such a supporter of Australian theatre and film. What are your thoughts about the government cutting $38 million from Screen Australia? I've spoken with filmmakers who are worried about what that'll do to the industry. Are you concerned?
I think there's a lot of concerns in the budget generally, not just for the film industry, but it's not only a potent industry that feeds Australia at home, but I mean, culture generally for any nation is a piece of soft diplomacy. It's a way that we understand the way the mindset of a country works. So it's a huge economic driver at home, and I think it's very short-sighted.
Question here, please.
Hello, Jack Mulvin from The Times. For a question for you, Kate, there was a moment last year at the award ceremonies. Sorry, I'm over here. There was a moment last year at the award ceremonies where someone was doing a camera pan of you, and you bent down and said, "Do you do this to the guys?" Do you think that red carpets have become...
What were they doing to me?
Well, they were doing a full body shot, going down.
Well, I mean, Jay gets that all the time, doesn't he?
I do.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, that's my life.
I was going to say...
Just a piece of ass.
Have red carpets become the new sort of beauty pageant? Are they taking the place of Miss World of the 1970s?
What, am I Miss Australia? Well, you've got America, so I guess the competition is on tonight.
Absolutely.
Look, I mean, it's important to remember why we're all here. And the wonderful thing about Cannes is that, and sort of what Jeffrey was referring to before, it understands event. And part of the event is dressing up, and it's fabulous. But when it becomes sort of a piece of, you feel like a piece of merchandise, then that's slightly different. But certainly, I mean, I have always had an extraordinary time here, and I love dressing up. But it's a little bit rude to look a woman up and down like that, and it's when a camera does it, it's slightly annoying.
Question here, please.
Hello, I'm Pierpaolo from Italy. Question to Kate Blanchett.
Oh.
I would like to ask you, since this is a fairy tale, I recently spoke to Benedict Cumberbatch, and he told me that when he was a kid, his parents read Narnia to him, and Cuarón, for example, read screenplays to his baby. What did they read you as fairy tales, your parents, and what do you read to your kids? Mm-hmm. And do you still believe in these things in the era of application and digital whatever and stuff? Do you do that?
Oh, every night. I mean, my husband's a writer. But my eldest son has taken... I find it very, very difficult to, I don't know about you guys, to read screenplays, because they come alive in conversation with the director. You know, when you hear what the backdrop is going to be, what the ensemble is going to be. I mean, and it was such a, you know, as soon as you said who was going to be, you know, obviously who were going to do the voices for this, it suddenly became very exciting. But my eldest son, who's just turned 12, loves reading screenplays, and he said to me a couple of years ago, he said, "Mum, you know, when are you going to do a blockbuster?" You know, and I said, "Honey, this might be it." But he's very, very good at reading them. So he actually loves reading the screenplays, and he said, "I think you should do this one, or this one, or this one." And he was very pleased I was doing How to Train Your Dragon.
Well, I think it's definitely going to be a blockbuster, considering the reactions today, and of course the love that this franchise has really gathered with, as you said, the television, the film, everything is coming together. So thank you all for bringing your magic to Cannes. Thank you.
Thank you.
For doing DreamWorks with us.
Thank you. It's just nice to meet you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
I wouldn't assume so. Yeah. Thank you.